Hello, my little friends. Welcome to the Little Story channel. I'm Bella. Have fun and learn with today's story. Remember, every story has something special to teach you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss the new stories. Shall we begin? Once upon a time, in a bustling little town filled with laughter, there were two clowns named Pataty and Patatra. Now, let me tell you, these clowns were as happy as a couple of clowns could be. With their red noses, brightly colored outfits, and endless supply of silly jokes, they were always spreading smiles. But there was just one tiny catch. Pataty and Patatra weren't exactly, well, the smartest clowns in town. They were a little bit goofy, and every job they tried turned into one big, funny mess. One day, they decided to try their luck at the town bakery. "This will be easy," Pataty said, dusting flour all over himself. But as soon as he tried measuring the ingredients, he accidentally poured an entire sack of flour onto his head. Achoo! He sneezed, and a huge cloud of flour filled the room. Patatra, meanwhile, tried to decorate cakes, but he got so excited that he tripped and fell, covering himself in frosting. Oh no, what do you think happens next? Do they manage to keep their job? The baker chuckled at their antics, but after watching a dozen cakes turn into a frosting disaster, he gently said, "Maybe the bakery isn't quite right for you too." But Pataty and Patatra didn't give up. They laughed it off and went to try another job, as delivery clowns. Their task? To deliver packages all over town. Easy, right? Well, not exactly. Patatra got the addresses all mixed up, so people received some pretty funny surprises. A businessman received a balloon animal instead of his briefcase, and a lady expecting groceries got a rubber chicken. People laughed, but the delivery boss sighed and said, "You two are funny, but I think deliveries might be better for someone else." But what do you think, kids? Will Pataty and Patatra find the perfect job? Or will they keep goofing up? Even after all these mix-ups, Pataty and Patatra stayed positive. They tried to work at the barber shop, but Pataty accidentally gave himself a strange, lopsided haircut. They tried cleaning windows, but Patatra got so distracted by his reflection that he ended up washing the sidewalk instead. Every time they messed up, they just laughed, patted each other on the back, and said, "That was hilarious." One day, feeling a bit defeated, they sat on a park bench, watching the people around them. "Maybe we're just no good at jobs," Pataty sighed, scratching his head. "But we're great at making people laugh," Patatra replied, pointing to a little boy giggling at them. What do you think happens next? The crowd began to wonder. Could it be that Pataty and Patatra finally figured out what they're meant to do? And then they had a brilliant idea. Maybe their real job wasn't baking, delivering, or cleaning, but simply making people laugh. They set up a small stage in the park, and soon they were doing all sorts of funny tricks, clumsy dances, and jokes that didn't make much sense. People gathered around, laughing at every move. Pataty would try to juggle but end up tossing his hat instead, while Patatra danced in a way that made everyone roar with laughter. Soon enough, Pataty and Patatra were known all over town as the Laughing Clowns. Kids, adults, and even grumpy old Mr. Grimble, the shopkeeper, would come by just to watch their antics. They weren't making much money, but they'd found something better, the joy of making people smile. But this isn't the end of Pataty and Patatra's story. What will their next adventure be? Will they go on to perform in an even bigger town, or maybe even join the circus? Let's stay tuned, because there's a lot more laughter coming our way. The days went by, and Pataty and Patatra's little show in the park became the talk of the town. People were coming from far and wide just to watch the laughing clowns and their hilarious antics. They'd perform silly skits, ridiculous dances, and clumsy magic tricks that always ended in laughter. But then, something unexpected happened. One afternoon, a tall man in a fancy suit and a big, shiny hat appeared at their show. He was the famous Mr. Grizzle, the director of the Grand Circus. He watched their entire act with a serious face, not cracking a smile once. Pataty and Patatra noticed him in the crowd, and a nervous chill ran down their spines. They tried extra hard to be funny, but somehow they kept fumbling even more. Pataty slipped on a banana peel he'd meant to throw, and Patatra accidentally tossed a pie right into Mr. Grizzle's face. Oh no! Do you think Mr. Grizzle will be mad? Will Pataty and Patatra's chance at the circus disappear? To everyone's surprise, Mr. Grizzle didn't storm off. He slowly wiped the pie off his face, looked at the clowns, and then burst out laughing. "You two are the silliest clowns I've ever seen," he said, still chuckling. "You know, you might be just what the Grand Circus needs." Pataty and Patatra gasped, their eyes wide. Was this real? Could it be that they were going to join the Grand Circus? "But there's a condition," Mr. Grizzle continued, his voice suddenly serious. "The audience at the Grand Circus has seen the best acts in the world. If you two want to impress them, you'll have to come up with the funniest, most unforgettable performance you've ever done. Can you do that?" The clowns gulped. They'd never performed for such a big crowd before. What if they weren't funny enough? What if they messed up in front of all those people? "What do you think, kids?" Patatra asked, glancing around. "Will we be able to pull this off? Can we make the whole Grand Circus laugh?" For the next few weeks, Pataty and Patatra practiced harder than ever before. They came up with new tricks, sillier jokes, and even learned how to juggle pies without hitting each other in the face most of the time. Day and night, they worked on perfecting their act, each move, and each joke. They were determined to make their big chance count. The night of the performance arrived, and the Grand Circus tent was packed. Pataty and Patatra peeked from behind the curtain, their hearts pounding as they saw the massive audience waiting. It felt like a million eyes were on them. They started to feel shaky, and for the first time ever, they weren't laughing. "What if we're not funny enough?" Pataty whispered, feeling his hands sweat. But then Patatra, with a big grin, patted him on the back. "Hey, we've always been funny just by being ourselves, right?" They took a deep breath, held hands, and stepped out into the spotlight. The audience was silent, waiting. They started their act with their silliest moves yet, tripping over each other, tossing rubber chickens, and accidentally PNG themselves. And then, the crowd started to giggle. Slowly, the laughter grew, until the entire circus was roaring with laughter. They finished with a grand finale, both slipping on the same banana peel and landing in a giant tub of popcorn. The crowd erupted into applause, and Mr. Grizzle stepped onto the stage with a huge smile. "Incredible!" he shouted. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newest stars of the Grand Circus, Pataty and Patatra." The two clowns looked at each other in shock, barely believing it. They'd done it. They'd found their place, and now, they'd be making people laugh all over the world. But remember, this is just the beginning of their story. What kind of silly adventures will Pataty and Patatra have on the road? Will they bring even bigger laughs to new towns, or maybe even perform for a king? As time went on, Pataty and Patatra became the stars of the grand circus. But soon, they dreamed of something even bigger. They wanted to create a place where laughter was the main act and anyone could feel like a clown if they wanted to. So, one sunny day, they decided to open their very own circus, the Laughter Circus. Their circus was unlike any other, full of silly acts, funny animals, and shows where the audience joined in. Kids, parents, and even the shyest grandparents would laugh and play alongside Pataty and Patatra. Every night, the big tent was filled with cheers, claps, and endless giggles. And now, what lessons can we learn from Pataty and Patatra's journey? 5 lessons we learned from Pataty and Patatra's story. Embrace your uniqueness. Pataty and Patatra didn't fit the mold for a normal job, but they stayed true to their funny selves. By being unique, they brought happiness to everyone. Don't give up, even when it's hard. They faced many failures, but Pataty and Patatra kept going, always trying with a smile. They never let challenges stop them. Find joy in the journey. Even though they struggled, they enjoyed every mishap and found joy in the adventure, proving that happiness is in the journey, not just the destination. Learn from mistakes and laugh at yourself. When things went wrong, they laughed, learned, and kept moving forward. They taught us that it's okay to make mistakes. They make us who we are. Follow your heart and make others smile. Pataty and Patatra discovered that their true calling was to make people happy. When we follow our hearts, we can spread joy to everyone around us. And so, Pataty and Patatra's Laughter Circus became a legendary place of fun, friendship, and endless laughter, inspiring everyone to live with a joyful heart and a bit of silliness. And as for their next adventure, who knows? With Pataty and Patatra, there's always more laughter just around the corner. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please give the video a like and leave a comment below. Tell me what you learned. Share it with your friends so they can join our adventure too. Also, check out this story here, it's amazing. Trust me,